My wife and I separated in December of 2009, and I noticed that there were some just changes in the relationship with my daughters and I. And I was concerned, so I turned to Catholic Charities and basically went through some counseling. I actually learned of Catholic Charities through my daughter's school. I have two daughters, one Tatiana, she's 12. And my younger daughter, she's 8, her name is Ariana. They're both honor roll students. We spend a lot of time together. You know, we play games together. You know, I help them with their homework. And I'm like this knight, right? So they look up to me and they look for someone to protect them. You know, to me, they just seem normal, you know, just typical kids. I think it was just the initial shock of the separation. You know, mom and dad were together one day and now they're not together. And I think it took a toll on them. Catholic Charities helped me with my daughters, providing guidance and advice on, you know, how to speak to them if, you know, they had a question regarding, for example, the separation. For example, my older daughter, you know, she really wants my wife and I to get back together.
My favorite part about life is having two loving parents that they're not always fighting, and we can be around them and feel safe.
I love him. I love my mom and dad more than, and my sister. Like, I love my family more than anything else.
Most cases, kids internalize and they believe that when their parents split up, that it was their fault. And I want to make sure that they understood that it wasn't their fault. You know, my separation with my wife, it was very difficult for me. And so I was at a low point, you know. It's like, you know, the knight falling off of the horse and, you know, having to decide whether he was gonna get back up and get on that horse and ride it again, or, you know, go to the Catholic Charities and work through these programs and, you know, help me, you know, basically pick myself up and say, you know, I'm gonna get back on this horse and I'm gonna ride off and, you know, show my daughters that I am strong and, you know, we are gonna be okay.
Working with the counselor was really nice because she was always there for us, making sure that we were feeling good and
doing the solutions to solving the problems. So our life's now much better than it used to be. And
that anger and that sadness eventually turned to, you know, joy and happiness. And so Catholic Charities has helped me protect my relationship with my girls. Being able to enjoy my kids, spending time with them, you know, that's huge. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I met Liz when I was in college, and I don't know, we've been together ever since, it seems.
When I first met Matt, I was in such a dark place, emotionally. I had just dealt with a very serious depression episode.
We had like a couple more years of school left. And yeah, but then right before we graduated, actually, then we had Ryan. And it was awesome. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life.
He was the best gift in the world. For 18 months, I didn't have to be on antidepressants.
I knew I'd be a good father. My initial fear was being able to support him.
Every paycheck, we're barely making ends meet and having to figure out, okay, what do we have to cut out so we can get groceries?
Like, we've had patches here and there. We'd have arguments from time to time.
Matt is not a violent man, ever. But we got into a little fight where I was kind of nitpicking, and I just snapped one night.
And then, I don't know what it was, but it just made me lose it. I just started screaming. I picked Ryan up. I put him in his crib.
And he storms downstairs, and
I was just so angry. I just wanted to hit something. And so I just started punching the book that was on the table.
And the top of the kitchen table broke off.
I don't know, it actually felt good to hit the table, like just to do something. I go step out back to cool off.
And then he stayed next door for 3 days. And I was just like, all right, well then, I'm done.
Yep, after that event, I realized I'd gone too far and I needed some type of help.
At that point, I was thinking of moving to Atlanta with my son.
Then the next couple days were really awkward. We finally got through to talking to it and decided that Catholic Charities counseling was the answer.
My experience with Catholic Charities was phenomenal.
Like, the biggest take-home point was just to keep the communication doors open and don't ever try to let things escalate and get out of hand.
Matt helped me realize I have everything to live for. He's stood by me just like I've stood by him through everything. He's been the rock.
I'm so much happier now that I get to keep my family and Ryan.
Ryan is the most precious thing in the whole world. He's, you know, he can make you so angry, but he makes you love so much. I could never imagine my life without my son. And him not having a father in his life, which I've never, ever wanted. Now it's a family.
I have a family. A strong family, too.
Growing up, I was in a big family. Most of the siblings were there at the time that I was growing up. There was 13 of us in and out. So it was difficult. My mom, she really had a lot of trust in God. So if things didn't work out or she was struggling, she'd just say, you know, God will provide, God will provide. My dad left when I was 10. So there was probably about 10 children at home. Well, Catholic Charities was always a big part of our family. And we lived right behind them, actually, the one on Wilkes-Barre and Lackawanna. So we have helped through the years through them, because that was a very poor neighborhood. And I went to school at Lackawanna Senior High. In that high school, I ended up getting pregnant my last year of high school, so I dropped out. So when I went back to Catholic Charities to look for help as far as, you know, being pregnant and needing assistance, one of the social workers talked to me about my getting my GED and how important that was for education. And then even after the baby was born, I think she really tried to encourage me to go back to school. And then from there, went to Brighton Stratton, and finally, after a little hiatus, I went to get my undergraduate and ended up going to medical school. And here I am.
My mom's success story, I would have to say, is a wonderful example for women today, especially single parents, single moms.
I think about my daughter and how Catholic Charities really kind of helped me through that difficult time, and I kept my daughter. So I think Catholic Charities really helps to empower you to reach the goals that you set. I sometimes think back as to why I did what I did, how I got to this. And I really think that must have been the hand of God, because I see Catholic Charities as God's providence for people that hope that, you know, things will work out and, you know, God provides, and this is the way God provides.